This is Alan Olsen, America Dreams, the keys to life success.
And this is Nadine Camera, and we're talking about how to live the life you want to live.
What are your dreams? What do you want out of life? And what defines success? Today we're going to talk about effectively managing goals and how to prosper in life. You know, at the beginning of each year, our family sits down and we plan out our goals for the year. They include goals involving various categories where we talk about family unity goals, recreational goals, spiritual goals. The process of yearly goals has become a tradition in our family. The kids have been taught the importance of setting goals in their life. It's interesting. I have 7 kids. And, people will say, 7 kids in the Bay Area? And, I tell the story. I said, well, look, we started in with 7 kids before, when my wife and I first got married, we decided that was what we wanted in our life. And, at the time I was working for the IRS, I earned about $17,000 a year. My wife was a school teacher making $24,000. And the first child came shortly into the marriage, and my wife comes into me. She says, I'm staying home now. And I said, honey, listen, I have an accounting degree, and I can put it down on paper. I can explain to you that if you stay home, we are going to starve. And my wife turned back to me and says, that's not my problem anymore, is it? So, oh, man. So anyways, it turned out to be an interesting adjustment period, but we stayed with it, and we have 7 kids today. So one of the things that we have in raising our kids, which age span is about 18 years from the oldest to youngest, it's almost like we hit a second generation of kids and parents in there. But it's always been about making sure that as we raise the family, that we teach the importance of goals in different areas of their life. So we have, basically 4 areas that we look at. We have the physical, the spiritual, we have financial, educational, and then sometimes we throw in the, special family or social goals that we have. With the business of life, the next generation needs to be taught how to set goals and how to balance life.
Setting goals is really important, Alan, in all aspects of life. Personal goals, vocational goals. I find it really important to write these goals down. How do you suggest individuals form a plan to set and achieve their goals?
In our my room at home, I have a big wall chart that I put together, and what my wife and I do at the beginning of the year is we'll first agree on where are we going within a 3 to 5 year period. So we're kind of establishing this is our vision, this is where we see ourselves in 3 to 5 years. And then we establish after our vision what our core values are. We break it down into family. What do we see within our family? One of the goals there is like we want to have a safe environment that provides spiritual growth, a stable income, safe environment, a good school, strong relationships. And we go on down the core values. The spiritual, we fill in our spiritual goals. We put in what our health goals are. Regular exercise, we put in what we want for work, and that typically ends up being stable income and a balance between the work and family. But it also, in a work goal, includes giving back to others.
Do you have certain time limits or deadlines for each goal plan?
That's a good question. Well, in order for us to continue to work on these goals, because really what it is we're setting a path. Where do we want to be within 3 to 5 years? We don't want it to happen accidentally, but we want to be intentional with our delivery. And so we review this on a quarterly basis. And so we'll say, okay, let's take the family aspect. In the next quarter, what do we want to have? It's almost like a business.
It sounds very much like it. It's very interesting.
It's the business of running a family, of running your personal life. But it's been amazing what when we put the power of intention to work, what we've been able to accomplish there.
For instance, I do real estate, and on a yearly basis, I do a business plan, which sets my goals for sales, etc. on a yearly basis. I write those down. That's a 1-year plan. Usually, I go with a 1-year plan. Do you have various plans that are maybe short-term goals or longer-term goals that your family wants to succeed in?
Absolutely. What we end up at the end of within our 90-day windows there is we have these little weekly compartments. And we say, okay, at the end of this week, did we do everything we wanted to do? And the answer is, of course not.
It's tough, isn't it?
It's tough. It's good intentions, but this is what it's about. It's about growth, about pushing your boundaries, about getting to the next level in life.
I think it's excellent. My son he's in Boy Scouts, and he's taking a time management merit badge, and he's actually writing out a schedule, which is basically his goals, what he intends to do for this week, for this day, for this period of time. And it's really helped him considerably, making it, now he really wants to make that effort to reach that goal versus, oh, I have to do it, and when am I going to get around to it? So I really think that writing down goals is really important. Let me ask you another question, Alan. After you establish a deadline for the goals, whether it be 90 days or 1 year, how do you make yourself accountable for them?
Well, that's where this comes in, by writing it down and putting the action plan in place. I'll tell you a quick story. We had my wife and I, let's see, it's my 1, 2, 3, fourth son, third son, counting up on my fingers here. He's dyslexic. And so we had a challenge in our public school system because they did not accommodate students that were dyslexic. So he had some special needs. And so we decided that we needed to put him in a special program for dyslexic kids. Mm-hmm. And this program ran till the 8th grade. And so one of our concerns is when he was transitioning out of this academy, it was actually Stellar Academy here in Fremont, just working with dyslexic kids, that he would need to roll back into the public school system where we took him out of in the first place. And
right.
So at the beginning of the year, one of the things I told my wife is I said, we need to figure this out. And so my wife is a researcher. And typically researchers love to research but never come to conclusions. Well, I shouldn't say that categorically, but I'll lay that in the case of my wife. She'd love to do continual research. So in October, we would check in on our 90-day plans in January and March and et cetera. And she's, well, I'm still looking at this. I got a couple more schools to interview. I'm talking to parents. And we were getting all the way to May. And school was beginning to let out. And I said, have you come to a decision yet? She says, no, I'm still working on it. And I said, okay. So got in the car. I drove down, signed him up for high school. Came back and said, I'm done. She says, you're done with what? I said, well, I put him in public school for the 9th grade because I don't want to be sitting here at the end of the beginning of the school year finding he had no place to go. And so she suddenly said, you put him in public school? I said, yeah, it's okay. I don't have a problem at all. I said, we'll just figure out the dyslexia. Well, the accountability started to kick in. And
right.
She realized that something needed to be done, and so that it helped to move her along in her decision process.
Did you end up keeping him in public school, or did you find a specialized school?
He was in public school for 1 week.
And then she found something better.
That's exactly what happened. She found a better program for him. So,
well, I think goals are great, especially when we're talking here about school. Well, you have a child, for me, I have a son that's a sophomore and going to college, and there's a lot of goals that we have to set to make sure that he gets into college and to write down.
That's excellent. Well, today we're going to be having on Randy Garn. Randy is the author of Prosper, Creating the Life That You Want to. He's a very successful entrepreneur, and we're going to talk about the aspects of developing a passion, following a passion, setting up your own business, and what we call prospering in life. So this is Alan Olsen with America Dreams, the Keys to Life Success. We'll be right back with Randy Garn. Welcome back. This is Alan Olsen's America Dreams, Keys to Life Success, where we talk about how to live the life that you want to. What are your dreams? What do you want out of life? What defines success to you? Today we have with us Randy Garn. He's the co-founder of Prosper and the author of the book prosper, create the life that you want to. Hey, Randy, how you doing?
We're doing very well today. Things are good. How are you, Alan?
Doing well. Well, Randy, there are many people who are living paycheck to paycheck. Many people are struggling to put food on their table out there in this lousy economy. Do you think there's the solutions to financial struggles that our nation is currently facing?
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting because in today's market, a lot of people are rebooting, reinventing, retooling, trying to come up with, man, what am I best in the world at, and how can I bring value? About 42% of people right now say that they're living paycheck to paycheck, and in my, what I think of the American dream is really being able to, one, have the hope in a brighter future, which I truly and 100% believe in. But I think what people are looking for right now is something that they can make money with, that they can really enjoy, and that's sustainable over the long time.
Wow, 42% paycheck to paycheck. And they say that we're not in a recession right now.
Yep.
But I'll tell you, it's the statistics are even more undaunting. They say that it's about 50% of Americans, and this aligns with the 42%, pay no income tax at all. I think it's about time now to really hone in and have some more information about what people can do in their life to really make the most out of it. It's this country, we're known as a land of opportunity. Land where with the country that we live in, the laws that are provided, people should have a chance to do what they want to. Now, I understand that in your book that will be released in just a few days, you discuss principles that will lead to prosperity.
Yep, we do.
Okay, so first of all, let's start with, when I use the prosperity word, what does that mean to you, Randy?
Yeah, and we've really, over the last 13 years, we've trained, thousands and thousands of people and worked with entrepreneurs in over 80 different countries. What prosperity means to us, and this is the reason why we wrote the book Prosper, and we'd love for everybody to get a copy of it and to read it, because it's really an action step to how to gain prosperity in your life. And for us, what it means to prosper is that what you are currently doing is, one, helping you make enough money to accomplish your dreams, but it also brings great happiness and satisfaction to you, both socially, and economically. But when you love what you do, it's sustainable over a long period of time. And so for us, prosperity really is, it's an equation. It's money plus happiness plus sustainability equals prosperity. And today, there's a lot of people, you can go out there and get a job that you hate, but we truly believe you only have one life to live. And so you might as well do something that you love that can help bring the amount of revenue that you need to accomplish your dreams. We've actually seen there was a study done too as well, that those graduates from college, that all they did was look for a job that brought them a lot of money, were actually less successful in the long run. Or those people that actually chased after what they loved doing, they actually ended up making more money and more revenue over the long term. And so our definition of prosperity is just that. Prosperity isn't about having all the money in the world, because we all know people that are very, very wealthy that are miserable. It's about having enough to live the kind of life that you want to live, and everybody's definition of that is different. So,
Randy, I guess this book isn't just the fact that you're an author writing a book, but you really have you're telling what you've done for the past 12 years, your research and teaching tens of thousands of people about what you came across. Little background: I heard that you were once nominated in the early stages as Entrepreneur of the Year with your company there.
Yeah, we were. We actually we actually won the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year award, and we did it in the way that we actually educate and train into entrepreneurs all over the world. And we actually were just awarded the U.S. patent for our online educational model. And so, and our model really helps individuals to implement those things in their life, to find out, hey, what am I the best in the world at, and how do they turn that into a very successful business? And so we actually just finished that patent up too as well this year. So.
Well, so you have been already at this for some time, teaching people how to be successful in their own businesses and to prosper in their lives.
Yeah, we have been, and we actually work with some pretty amazing authors and thought leaders to help us to come up with, over the years, to come up with the 6 practices that we have in the book are very well thought out, research, studied, and you actually kind of have to do them in order too as well. And so we're excited to get this message out to everyone.
Wow. Who are some of the people you work with in the past?
Some of the people that we work with in the past and that we still currently work with are, good people like the folks at Nightingale Conant, Robert Allen, Joe Vitale. There's a lot of other great entrepreneurs and thought leaders that we've helped with their book promotions and understanding. We love to learn from those people. I mean, we've studied everything from Jim Collins from Good to Great and helped implement a lot of those strategies in our programs too as well. A lot of things from Tony Hsieh from Zappos on the culture that they've developed, and if you read his book too as well, Delivering Happiness, he really followed what he believes and what he loves too as well. And that was really delivering happiness to people. And if you read his book, there's a lot of the core principles there too as well. And so, those are some of the people that we've worked with, and some of the people that we enjoy their writings too as well.
Wow! So you have a lot of thought leadership in your portfolio there.
Yeah, we do.
I have a question, Randy. You said you have an online program. How would somebody, if they wanted to take some of your online entrepreneurship classes, how would they be able to get a hold of you and do so?
Yeah, if somebody wanted to take some of our entrepreneurial classes, they can definitely go to our website www.prospering.com, and they can contact us through that website. And we have entrepreneurial classes, everything from small business to e-commerce to personal finance to how to transfer your debt into wealth and ways to be able to do that. We have personal development programs too as well, and so we've actually got a pretty holistic array of different courses and programs that you can take, and they're all very results based. And so a lot of our students aren't looking to get a degree. A lot of our students aren't looking to finish a statistics class or whatever. They're really looking to implement and to earn an extra income, but also to find out what can I do what can I do in my life that I really, really love, and how do I execute and implement that with the help of a one-on-one coach and trainer to help you to go through that course. And most of the courses last from 6 months to a year.
Wonderful. Thanks for that info.
So what you're really all about then, Randy, is you're about the aspiring entrepreneur who needs a solid business coach of how do I make this company grow into something big.
That is exactly right. And that's kind of the book outline too as well, as to how to find those things. But everybody that 72% of people have an idea or a specific product or something that they want to get out to the marketplace, that they want to get their either information out or their education or a book or develop a business. And so there's more entrepreneurship happening right now than there ever has been in the history of our country. And so what we do is we help accelerate the success rate of entrepreneurs through our educational training programs. That we've got standard curriculums that kind of help take through marketing, branding, developing out a business plan, and then how do I execute that with somebody that will kind of help you in that process. So,
Alan, do you think the American dream still exists? Do you think that get-rich mentality still there?
Well, the get-rich mentality, I'm not sure that is ever anything that people should aspire to, because I believe that if you build it too quickly, it won't last. But what Randy's talking about here sounds like it's a key formula to really making something last. He has great business coaches and building something of a lasting value. So, Randy, can you give us some thoughts here? How has your program been going here? We just have a minute here to wrap this up, and
yeah, no, and I love your question too as well. Does the Get Rich scheme really exist? And you know what? I mean, and you guys are in San Francisco too as well. And if you remember back in the gold rush days, There wasn't that many people that made a huge amount. There were some, but we really believe that those people that really do what they love, and have everybody has their unique DNA, their unique fingerprint. They also have something unique that they can bring to the world. And we really think that if you do that, then it can be sustainable over the long term. We don't really, we really believe in slow and steady wins the race.
Hey, Randy, we're running up against our time right here, but I'd like to hold you on for another segment. So this is Alan Olsen, America Dreams, Keys to Life Success. We'll be right back in a moment with more information on how you can prosper in life. Welcome back. This is Alan Olsen with American Dreams, Keys to Life Success, where we talk about how to live the life that you want to. What are your dreams? What do you want out of life? What defines success? We've been visiting here with Randy Garn. He's the author of the new book, Prosper, Create the Life That You Really Want. Hey, Randy, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, Alan.
So, in your book, I understand that you've developed 6 practices that help people prosper and redefine prosperity. Can you tell me about those principles?
Yeah. No, we would love to. And this, we've actually developed these principles, like I said earlier, over 12 years of being in business and a lot of research and study on, training and mentoring a little over 80,000 people. And so we've really put together some thought behind these 6 principles, and we want people to do them in order. Really, the 6 principles that you can find in the book, and each one of them will go into detail. It's, find your own Polaris point. And a Polaris point is just like that, just like the North Star. In astronomy, there's only but one Polaris point. And so it always stays fixed in the heavens, and you always know where that's at. And so we believe that every individual should kind of figure out, what is that I want to accomplish in my life, and then do it. The second principle is understanding, the difference between the balance of money and happiness. And there's tons of stories, and one of the stories in the book too as well is about an attorney that's making a ton of money, but he never has enough time for his family, and he's always scrambling around, busy working, late nights, and all he truly wants to do is be able to have enough money and time for his family. But because of making 6 figures and house payments and trying to keep up with everybody, he's not able to balance that money and happiness. And then there's another story that we share of a janitor that makes enough money to spend all the time he wants with his kids. He's extremely happy, and his life is sustainable. And so, it's really helping everybody find, what that balance is between their own money and happiness.
Randy, there was an article, this newscast this week on Rick Perry, and he's from some small town in Texas, and all I remember is the word paint is part of the name of the town. So, Paint something Texas. But they had these, they had the newscaster go find the place. It was the ways out north of Austin. Yeah. And they showed a picture of a vast, empty landscape. And they found the high school where there was 130 students enrolled. Actually, it was all the grades. Rick had graduated number 3 in his class of 13. And then as they went through this process, they found a farmer there, and they showed the farmer's field, and he said, "Look, we're in a drought here, and because of the drought, there's no water to grow crops." And so you kind of got the picture that this place was real economically depressed. But the farmer said, when asked by the newscaster, says, "Well, how do you like it out here?" And the guy says, "I love it. You don't have to have money to have happiness in life," which was interesting.
That is. I mean, that's right at the heart of it. And you do have to. I mean, and that's because there's a lot of people that are extremely happy but don't have a lot of money. We just call those people happy. And what our definition of prosperity is that you have enough money doing what you love to do, and it can continue to last. And it's like Steve Wozniak. One of the quotes that I truly love is that, he said that he wasn't there to make a lot of money. He just wanted to build good computers. And he was the CEO of Apple for a long time. And that's it. Really comes down to that. loving what you do when your passion mixes with profits. So
I love that saying, when you have passion and profits together.
Yep.
I think the worst thing that could happen is a person go to work and hate being at their job every day.
Yep. The average person, it's right now the average person is switching jobs so often. The statistics are just astounding of how many times people switch jobs, and it's because they don't love what they do. When you find what you love what you do, whether it's working internally in a job, which we call entrepreneurship, or it's building your own business, both of those things, if you truly love it and you're being able to grow inside your company and do the things you love, if you're the best at that, then that's when that passion and the profits can mix. So,
wow, spoken by a true entrepreneur who loves his job. All right, so what else do you have in the principles here?
A couple of other things that we feel are really, really important is to focus on what you already have. A lot of people get stalled because they think, oh my gosh, I've got to find VC capital, I've got to find funding, I've got to have a team around this, and so one of the things that's really important is to make a list of the assets that you already have, whether it's key relationships, funding relationships, or what are the assets that you have? What do you have that can help you to accomplish what you've already done in the first principles in the book? And so that's critical. A lot of people they don't take time to write things down. They don't take time to take an inventory of the resources they have around them. And if you look at most of the highly successful businesses, you think about all these Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies, they had to start somewhere. They start in their garage. They start somewhere. And there's a lot of very successful medium-sized companies that are family-owned that people love. And so a lot of those were just started from an idea and the resources that they had. So a lot of times you don't need to go get big, capital or funding. You need to spend time on that.
It's interesting that we work with a lot of venture capitalists in our business and entrepreneurs. And the entrepreneurs, after having done one successful company, the first thing that they learn is that they want to try to hang on as much of their company as they can. And they resist the urge to go out and start selling their company to other people.
Yep.
So I like the resources of, evaluating what you have and what, resources that you currently have in hand, how far that will take you before you need to go out and find external things.
Yeah, it's very true.
So what about, a person coming in and saying, well, I lost my job, I want to get back into the workforce and having trouble finding employment, I think I'll go start my own company. And so what we've established is make sure if that's going to happen that you got some type of a passion and you got some resources to do that. But what else would they need as they start out? As an entrepreneur, I think one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs fail in is really building out that successful business model. And if it's something that you're highly passionate about, I mean, when I first I was actually going to college full time and working full time, and I actually ran a concrete construction crew. And, I was making great money. I was able to get through college, but I knew that isn't what I wanted to do the rest of my life. And so when you're first starting, and it was a company that I was working for somebody, but then I decided to as well. I started a little business called Buck. And we actually, instead of slaving over, making $18 an hour running a construction company, back in my early 20s, I said, you know what, let's figure out something else that can help bring some revenue, and that was a ton of fun. We actually started taking out all the girls' garbages in the dorm rooms, and we were making $2,000 to $3,000 a month just taking out garbages, and we're just charging everybody in the room $1, and we'd go every Tuesday and Thursday, take out the trash, and we were making some phenomenal money. And and it was a small business, but we met a ton of people, and we were providing a service that others didn't want to do. And so that's just a small example. It may be that you love baking cakes. There was just a big thing on CNN about an entrepreneur that she just loved to make cakes, and she did it from home. And all of a sudden, people started paying her, a ton of money to have her bake the cakes for them. So you need to think of a business that you love,
but also make sure that there's an economical model behind it and that you make more than you spend too as well.
I love the concept, the single guy starting a business to take out the girls' garbage. Wow.
Randy, we loved hearing from you. How do people contact you if they want to purchase your book?
The best way for people to do that is just go to prosperbook.com, and they can go right on there and see the book and see some of the other things that we're doing too as well. So just on prosperbook.com.
Hey, thank you, Randy, for joining the show today. I like to hold you on. We got a couple people calling in that have some questions. Do you have time to stay with us?
Yeah, sure, I'm fine.
Excellent. Well, this is Alan Olsen, America Dreams, Keys to Life Success. We'll be right back with Randy Garn. Welcome back. This is Alan Olsen's American Dreams, Keys to Life Success. We've been visiting here today with Randy Garn, the new author of the book Prosper to Create the Life That You Really Want. We have a caller on the phone, Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy, I understand that you have a need to find more prosperity in your life.
Yes, Alan. I'm 23 years old. I'm going to school full-time, trying to go on some dates, attending church and everything. I recently started a business called Foster Ties, buying and reselling neckties online and door-to-door. With everything going on, I'm just trying to figure out how to balance my life and make time for everything.
Hey, Randy, can you give Jeremy some thoughts on where he should start with this?
Yeah, I think Jeremy too as well. Like my story too as well. When I was going to college, single, trying to make ends meet. You need to think about with your ties. How can I multiply myself? Are you doing anything online? Are you using anything through social media? Have you set up a website where people can go to that, or are you just mainly going door to door?
Well, I've got a website up, and I haven't really tapped too much into the social media aspect yet, but I want to do that.
I gotta interrupt here. Randy, you talked about Jeremy multiplying himself. Jeremy, what about the hair ribbons? Have you thought about that as an added line to the ties?
No, I actually didn't consider that yet.
Well, Randy did the garbage routine and did some good social networking
Alan,
there.
I think you'd love a hair ribbon. You got to be perfect.
All right, go on. Sorry about that, but.
Yeah, well, no, Jeremy, I think you need to think about, where are you sourcing the ties from? What are your cost per ties? Look at maybe different lines, like Alan says, is maybe have, some cheaper ties, some medium price ties, some more expensive ties. Make sure that you're doing those things to reach a broader audience. And then I would really use, a lot of the things that we're helping people understand is the power of online marketing, internet marketing, and the tools and resources that are there through different advertising, contextual advertising, blogging and things like that. So there's a lot of resources that you might be able to do. I know it's a very competitive space too, but you might want to look into some of those avenues too.
All right, great. Yeah, I started the website with iPage, and I need to look more into what I can do with social media and advertising through iPage on my website and getting out to Google so I can be searchable online and everything. So,
yeah. Well, wonderful. Make sure that you're calculating, your expenses. Make sure that you're watching every single dime, and also your time and effort that's put into it, that it's not taking away from the things that you really love. And then, you just never know where this will blossom into. But at least I'm excited that you're out doing something. There's so many people right now going to school that think, hey, I'm just going to get through school. And I truly believe that this keeps you engaged, invigorated. I think you'll do better in school. You're making ends meet on your own, and that actually drives a lot of healthiness too as well. So my hat's off to you for getting out there too.
Hey,
thanks. Yeah, I think that while doing this during school, taking my entrepreneurship classes, doing a business at the same time, my education is going to be 4 times more effective, I think.
Well, thanks, Jerry, for calling in for the advice, and we're happy to have you here today.
Alan, we now have another call in.
Well, but I got a question before we go into this. So, Randy, when we go back to school, and you were doing these business at school, what was the greatest challenge to you? Was it your time or the money to scale the business? We're talking about resources here.
I think one thing that's been my biggest resource constraint, and I think for all of us, if you do it, is time. Because I think, if you really track your time well and do that, I think you can accomplish great things in life. Why is it that one person can do so much and that another person can't? Because you need to be able to really watch your time. If I look back, I wish that I wish I would have had more time. But also, I think there's a tremendous skill at getting people to being able to rally the right team around you. And I'm a tremendous believer in getting good people around you that can also help you.
Alan, we have another caller calling in. It's Jeff that's on the phone.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
Doing great, thanks.
You have a question here today for Randy Garn?
I do, yeah, thanks. Randy, I'd like to know what you think the key is to finding prosperity in life.
Hey, what I think the key is to finding the prosperity in life, it is all in our book, Prosper. If you go to the book, prosperbook.com, there is some good answers there. And I think the key to prosperity in life, Jeff, is it's very individual for every person out there. But prosperity is having enough money to really live the life you want to live, and being happy at what you do, and that it like I said, it's sustainable over a long period of time, and that you stay away from those things that are going to bring you down. You don't attach yourself to programs or projects that aren't going to be successful. That you really think about what it is you want to do and spend time doing that plan, and then commit 100% to it. So I really think that if people spend more time making that plan in their life, that building that prosperity that's going to help them make more money, more happiness, and sustainability in life, that's what I've found to be a great key.
So when we talk about prosperity, Randy, as I'm listening to Jeff's question, it does not necessarily mean money.
It doesn't. In fact, some of the statistics and research that we did, most people said that having prosperity in life was having happiness. And in our book, we want to make it clear too as well that this book isn't about being just happy. There's a lot of books written about happiness. This book isn't just about making a ton of money, because there's a lot of books that we know of that's about that. This book really gets down to the core of what prosperity is, and that is actually the balance between money and happiness. And how to achieve that. So, and I think that's a true definition of prosperity. It's multidimensional. It's just not one of the two. So,
it's interesting. It seems to me then that when we talk about prosperity, the oxymoron in there would be prosperity and money. But it seems like the synonym there is that prosperity is really about following one's passion.
Right.
What's inside of their self. This is all very insightful.
Thank you, Jeff, for calling in. We appreciate the call.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, I had a friend make a comment to me. He says he read a poem, and I'll read it somewhat later, but basically was focused in on that each of us in life from birth to death are on a time continuum. Mm-hmm. And at the end of our time, when it's up and over, everything that we acquired in life stays behind. So, how would you define that with prosperity? And we got just a short bit here, but what would you say the successful life would look like?
I'm a big believer in that too as well. It's like, I think that family and friends and relationships are key to that. I think are key to that happiness side of things too as well. But I think also too as well is making sure that you have enough money to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. And a big part of the last chapter kind of talks about renewing your prosperity. Also being prosperous is a tremendous part of giving back. Most prosperous people and most very, very wealthy people, they become extremely happy when they're able to actually change other people's lives and give back to society. And that's part of the sustainability piece that we talk about. And when you're able to do that, I really feel like you're very, very holistic, and you've attained some true prosperity in your life.
That's perfect. Hey, Randy, all great thoughts here. We really appreciate you being with us here today on the show.
Well, thanks for having me, Alan. I really appreciate it.
This is Alan Olsen, America Dreams, Keys to Life Success. We'll be back with more information on what to do after this short break. Welcome back. This is Alan Olsen's America Dreams, Keys to Life Success, where we talk about how to live the life that you want to live. What are your dreams? What do you want out of life? What defines success?
You know, Alan, we've had a great discussion with Randy Garn, the author of Prosper, Create the Life You Really Want. That's now will be available in a few days at www.prosper.com. Alan, with all this talk about how to prosper, is money really everything? Do you believe that money makes people happy in life?
No, I don't believe that money makes anybody happy in life. Yeah, in fact, I have a client. He self-made gazillionaire or whatever. You know, I mean, he has more than enough money, and he comes back to me and he says, you know, Alan, he says the real money is on the golf course when I'm betting on a hole of golf. You know, it's $5 or $10 at a time. And I said, why is that? He says, because I really got some skin in the game. I have a passion for golf, and he says that type of money makes me happy. The other stuff, no, I'm not happy with it.
So perhaps a key to being successful is to be successful in the balance of all of these things, perhaps making enough money, but also doing what we're passionate about and finding a balance with our family and our spiritual goals as well. Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, I think to every individual person, they need to really base their life on their own passion. You know, what derives their happiness. But the more they can align the passion that they have with how they spend their time, the more fulfilling their life becomes.
Right.
There was a guy that Bob Buford, who wrote a book. I think it's Halftime or something, and he says the first half of your life you should spend, you know, creating wealth. You know, you're the entrepreneur. You have a W-2, but you're always saving. And then when you get to about 50 years old, you should spend the last half of your life giving everything that you've accumulated away.
Now, that's an interesting topic because I think Randy touched on that. You see, he touched on part of prosperity is giving back, and that creates some of that happiness that we will enjoy. It's giving back to the community, giving back to others. So how do you feel about that, Alan?
Well, I can tell you a personal experience that when my second child entered college education, I said, hey, we're going to do this, principal. And I went to my kids. I said, I just gave all your college education away. And
how did they like that?
They said, you what? And I said, look, kids, I said, you guys, you don't need money as much as other people in life. And so we're going to give money to the what I say for your college education to disadvantaged children.
Wow.
And an interesting result. It was a gutsy move on my part, but the kids looked at it and said, Dad, we support you in the decision, and if you're going to do that, I guess we'll just work harder to get scholarships. And
how's it panned out? How's it panned out for them?
It panned out very well. They went through. They paid every college education, tuition payment, housing payment, meal. They supported themselves, and we were able to bless the lives of other kids.
Wonderful.
So that whole concept about giving back, it's a true principle. So
great. Well, you know, I know that material things, when people think of prosperity and success, they think of material things. Many equate that to how much money. But material things we can't take when we die, right? What we leave behind is what we've done for others, what we've given to others.
What do you want people to write in your obituary after you're gone? That's a good way to think about this whole plan.
What legacy will you leave? Who have you helped? And I think that might be the key to prosperity there.
Excellent. Hey, Nadine, thanks a lot for being with us today again. This is Alan Olsen, America Dreams, the Keys to Life Success, where we talk about how to live the life that you want to live. What are your dreams? What do you want out of life? And what defines success? Welcome back with us next week, where we'll be talking more about how to prosper in your life.